is Yuri Kasdorp from Mouse, and we are here at Road America, specifically in the Kink of Road America, back with a track guide. And this time it's one of my favorite circuits, circuit with amazing flow, I think, really good flowing corners, and just a joy to drive. So let's get into it. Right, so here we are, ended the lap around one of my favorite tracks in iRacing, Road America, in the Ferrari, because it packs a bit of the punch out of the corners, which we need for the straights. And we're on a race field as usual. And on this track, it's really important to focus on his exits and keep the speed up throughout these long winding corners. So we get to turn 1. Turn 1, we want to go in quite fast. We get the rear to rotate nicely, like just after the 2 cones. Use the curb on the inside. And you can see quite wide at the exit. Like just before the white line on the road there. Just very good speed for the exit here. Then we get to the first back straight. The braking here for the hairpin will go all the way to the right side. We can use a lot of the track and then some here. Keep the speed through the corner here. Right just before the top. Try to be almost flat here. Brake it to 2. Use that curb on the inside here for some rotation. I got the carousel. I want to be very careful with our inputs on the pedals. Focus on a good exit. And the kink here and the Ferrari is mostly just understeer, so make sure to lift a tiny bit to get the front to grip. Like just after the 3 here. Slowly build it to the inside. Small lift again here. And braking while turning for the last corner. And focus on a good exit. And then we got the power all the way up the hill for a nice lap around Road America. Right, so here we go. Start the lap. Let's have a closer look. Turn 1, we're looking at the cones on the left side, and I like to brake just after the 3 cones. So just after the 3 cones here, again as close to the white line as you can. And then turn 1 is all about keeping the speed up and wanting to go back on power as quickly as we can. Firstly here until this point, your whole goal is to try to make sure that the front end is loaded and the rear is light. And if you did that correctly, you should be able to go on power really quickly once you hit this inside curb. If the car understeers here, you have to wait longer to go on power. So what you want to do to get it loaded is brake hard and then slowly come off the brakes. Have a nice trail brake to the inside curb. If it understeers, you're probably going in a bit too quickly. Then again, you hit the curb here, on power quickly, and it will feel like you're going to go off the road here, but the curb here catches you last moment, and we can put 2 tires into the grass here when the curb ends without getting the off track. Then we get to turn 2, and like I usually say, these markers on the left side here, they're present, but they're too far. But one of the nice things on Road America, these people have been really smart designing the track. They know these markers here are way too far, so we put lines on the road. You see these 2 small white lines? They correlate with the 2 and the 1, and they make it very easy when you're driving, looking at the apex, seeing this in your peripheral vision, to know where to brake. And I like to brake on this hole here before the first, before this line of one to the second line. And just brake and try to keep the speed up into the corner. Late apex, because we want to get a good exit from here. Long straight coming up. And again, we want to go all the way to the left side, and we can use 2 tires in the grass here as long as you're not going too wide. So you have to experiment a bit with that, where exactly the off-track is. If the right side tires are not within the white line, it tends to be an off-track when you go on the grass. As long as they're in the white line, you can take this patch of grass on the left side here without getting the off-track. And we want to take that to optimize our run onto the straight. Then we get to what is probably the best overtaking opportunity on the track. And when we're driving along, you don't want to follow the right side line completely. What we want to do is go off the road a bit under braking. So we want to make sure that we're off a bit from the white line. We're looking at the 2, we brake just before the 2, and instead of following this white line, we brake straight and we go to this point here. And this is how it looks like. So just before the 2, we start braking. And then I want to aim that my left side tires are on this colored curb. And as you can see, we're not really on the track anymore. But this, not an off track, it's used. The only thing you have to be careful of, if you do this with someone close to you, and they put it down the inside, officially you're entering the track again because you're off the white line. So you can't just turn in if someone puts the nose in, and it will be your fault. There's nobody close to you, take this line, because we want to maximize our speed into the corner here, maximize our line. And what's really important here, at least in the Ferrari, is going to the throttle slowly. And we want to be close with the right side tires to the patch of gravel here. But if you don't go to the throttle slowly, it tends to lose traction very, very quickly. Then we get to the top of the hill. We want to brake just before the top. So you see this elevation change here. You want to brake just before there it goes down. And the hardest I want to brake is in this elevation change here. And then the moment it goes back straight again, we go off the throttle to get, or the brake, sorry, to get the car to turn in. And then again, slowly back on power. You get the kink. And in the kink, the car tends to understeer a bit. So if you take the perfect line here with good conditions, you should be able to take it flat. Small lift, otherwise it's not going to hurt you too much. And what you want to do is clip the inside grass just a tiny bit. So just like this here. Make sure that the left side tires are within the white lines. And what this does is it helps the car to rotate. Because it's like hitting a puddle of water. The grass is more resistant than the track. So the moment we hit the grass on the right side, the car pulls towards it. Will help us go through the corner. So not only does it improve our line, it actually helps the car rotate through the corner a bit more and makes it that we have to lift less. And on top of that, it's just a great feeling getting that tiny bit more rotation in the middle of the corner. Then again, we have the lines on the road. We just brake before the 2. You can use the lines on the road for that. Use the curb on the inside here a bit. Get the car rotated. Slowly back in power. We want to open the carousel up from the left side. And then in the carousel, the corner just keeps going. So we want to use a wheel, of course, to turn. But to get the car to turn more or less, we have to use a throttle and brake pedal. So what we want to do in the corner here, and the car starts to understeer, I want to turn a tiny bit more. Tiny bit on the brake. Tiny bit on the brake. Until I get the rotation in the car and we can build up the throttle. And the last bit here, we go down a bit, it's banked a bit. So you want to be on throttle quite early, and the car will stick if you have the right rotation in the car. So you can see the rear is stepping out a bit compared to the front, meaning that if I want to go full throttle, the car just keeps rotating nicely through the corner. And if your car understeers the whole time, you have to wait very, very long to go back on power, just like turn 1. And again, the fix for that is making sure in the middle of the corner we use that tiny bit of brake to get that bit more rotation when we're already turning fully. And we get to the kink. Infinite Kink and Road America. Some cars here are rear limited. If your car is rear limited, you want to lift before you turn in to get that weight on the rear in the middle of the corner, back going on power. If your car's front limited, like the Ferrari, you want to lift in the middle of the corner to get that weight on the front end of the car. So here, my car's front limited a bit, full throttle at this point, tiny lift here to try to get a bit more weight to the front, and back to full throttle. We can use this patch of dirt here, or grass, sorry, just the same as before. We want a straight line from here to here with the left side tires on the grass. Then we get the proper back straight. Also an overtaking opportunity, but this one's more tricky than turn 3. Look at the tree marker. Brake just after that. Down to second gear, on all the way to the left side here. Actually, we want to run all the way to this point here. You don't want to run all the way to the gravel, because that means you probably went too far already in the middle of the corner here to make this off track here. And again, we can just clip 2 tires on the grass here, but if you're too far to the left side with the right side tires not within the white line, you're gonna get you off track. And then it's similar to the kink here. If your car's rear limited, you want to lift a bit before the corner. If your car's front limited, you want to lift a bit right when we turn into the corner. So my Ferrari is more front limited. We lift a tiny bit into the corner and then go flat out again. We can use all of this road on the right side here, so we want to use it. Have to go a bit over the curb here to do so. And then we get to the last corner. Very, very tricky. Again, there's these lines on the road. They've been really nice. And you want to brake quite early. And you want to brake as much as you can in a straight line to the left point here, the left curb. You want to get close to it. You can even go on it a bit. I like to get very close to it. Turn in, get the car rotated nicely. Go for a late apex. And then the moment you have the rotation, before the curb even, I want to go back on power and make sure I get the best acceleration I can. Close to the grass here, close to the dirt. Same here, close to the dirt. And if you do that right, you have the best speed you possibly can back up the hill for start finish straight to end the lap around Road America. Alright, so there we have it. Lots of proper American track limits, which means if there's tarmac, we can use it. Lots of fun to drive, great flow on the track. It always produces some great racing, I think. Lots of fun to race, lots of fun to Hotlap. If you have time, I would recommend doing this week. And I'll see everyone next week for the next track as well. See you then.